Lagos, I believe Lagos we are going to compare Lagos and London. Yes, in 10 years' time, you will see people from London, England, Ireland would like to come to Lagos to come and have their holiday.
Elsie!
Alxndr.
How are you?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Your hair looks different, Elsie.
Oh, that's it. I mean, it's new, courtesy of Carl Campbell, black-owned hair salon in Brixton. Yes. Your hair looks new, Alex.
It's not. It's not. It's the same old. I'm semi-freeforming though.
Nice. We talk about this, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's the reason behind it again?
It's a bit of a list, but it's not really. It's been that year.
I feel you.
And yeah, I'm tired of people touching my head.
Welcome to Seasons, guys.
Yay.
We're back. This episode is going to be the end of 2020, the triumphantly traumatic year.
Wow.
That's a quote by Tiny Man.
I like that.
Triumphantly traumatic year. I really agree. Well, before we start, I just want to say that Alex, do you remember in the last episode I spoke about wanting Origin bitters? So our producer actually got Origin bitters, but then Alex drank it. He drank both Origin bitters.
So this is what we're using
Seasons
for.
Seasons.
Whoa! That's too slow.
Okay. Seasons.
Conversations.
Diaspora.
London.
Nigeria.
Yoruba. I won that one, guys. I won that one. Now, Seasons is conversation.
Culture.
Wow.
Sorry.
Seasons is conversations that arose out of a need to, I guess, amplify our voices, to build bridges and connect the diaspora to those on the continent.
In today's episode, we're going to be doing a recap of 2020. This year has been very wild, and it feels like it's been like 3 years rolled into one.
10 years even, sure.
Honestly, it's been a decade within a year. And so we thought that it would be quaint. What does that word even mean? Quintessential? I don't know.
It's like essential with something fancy on the front of it.
Okay. We just thought it'd be good to do a recap of the year, the highs, the lows, the challenges, and we're gonna do so in 1 minute sprints. Anything you want to add?
Wish us luck.
Wish us luck.
Doing something in 1 minute is not in our vocabulary.
Also, I lost.
Black power.
You just coughed, Alex.
My allergies.
In a pandemic.
Elsie's a nurse, everyone.
I'm so
She
sorry.
cares.
I do. I do like this, like round, like small, because then it's in front of you, and you have to bring it away from the whole circumference.
And then bring it back to your front.
Bring it out
to your future.
No, not to my future.
Sure.
But
should it go that way? Get behind me.
Or you can do that to the side as well, so it's away from you.
Then as you're running, it's following you. It's following you. We got sucked in. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Let us know in the comments though, is it to the front, is it to the left, or is it to the back?
Put it behind you.
Oh yeah, like that one, but then if I'm doing one hand, it's definitely...
I just feel like you're bringing...
You're bringing it into your future. Yeah, I feel you.
You've dashed it and then like solar... What's it?
But maybe...
Solar return. I'm sorry.
Maybe it's like you're bringing it and then you're saying, let me come.
Happy birthday to me. I'm sorry. We're getting sucked in.
Hey. COVID. Oi. Hey. COVID-19. Pandemic. The first pandemic I've ever lived through in my life. It's been interesting.
What about heart attacks? What about cancer? What about the list that I don't readily have there, but the things that have been plagued? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Why did your face do that? I'm so sorry.
They'll continue.
I'm done.
No, continue.
I thought obesity was almost like
A pandemic.
well, for the West.
Yeah. I guess I need to look at what the actual definition of a pandemic is.
Mm.
But I think I definitely agree that what the health challenges that you're describing are definitely epidemic to globally, if that makes sense. In that sense, that it does make them a pandemic because it is a global and international problem that everyone's facing to a certain extent. But I think in terms of how we're using pandemic to describe COVID is that it's a highly contagious disease that has spread around the world, if that makes sense. And in that sense, coronavirus has been wild. I'm a nurse, so I joined intensive care at the start of the COVID pandemic.
How did you find it?
Honestly, it was wild. Like, it's meant to be like one-to-one nursing, and you're just seeing like
bodies.
No, just like bare, like trying to create beds out of like empty spaces. Like nurses having to take 2-3 patients, and I think lockdown as well was crazy for a lot of people. I mean, the first lockdown I was having a great time until BLM and then Me Too, all that kind of stuff happened. And then the second lockdown, I think people have taken it really badly as well.
Do you reckon?
A lot of people that I've spoken to have found this one a lot worse on their mental health than the first one. Yeah,
I hear that.
Yeah.
My mum's also.
You got COVID, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mum did as well, and my sister.
Yeah.
It's complex, man. COVID affects everyone differently, right?
Yeah.
But it really did a number on my family. So, it's hard because you're jumping in the memes.
Yeah.
You're jumping in the misinformation or disinformation. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel very confused. I feel very overwhelmed. My culture, my experiences, religion is telling me one thing. Government, science. Farmer is telling me another thing, and it's confusing and 100%. It's annoying.
And but, rest in peace, everyone who lost a parent or lost a brother, sister, auntie, uncle, because a lot of my friends had family members passing away.
And I also had a lot of friends who were like, "Oh, I don't know what you're on about. No one this."
Yeah, and that insensitivity. Do you know what I mean?
It's hard. So
But
you know what you know, right?
Yeah.
And you go through what you go through. Keep yourself safe.
Yeah. Wash your hands.
Yeah. Masks,
your whole hand.
Brexit. I'm tired of Britain. It's a mess. And I'm tired.
Yeah.
And it also shows the attitudes that are prevalent in this country. Yeah. It's annoying.
I think Brexit did give way for a lot of political slander to come around or to come out about refugees or migrants or black and minority ethnic groups, you know what I mean? It kind of emboldened certain groups of people to come out and be like, oh yeah, get out of that country. Where
are you running away from? Why are you trying to leave the
EU?
Why?
I think that they're trying to establish more links between Britain and the Commonwealth.
Leave them.
Which I understand to a certain extent, but I also don't think coming out of the EU is... But then again, I think there's so much more. There's a lot of complexities to understand when it comes to it.
Sure.
I think a lot of it is to do with the EU and the different regulations that you have to abide by if you're going to be in the EU and limits on trade and stuff like that.
I feel like they're just up to more ridiculous capitalist nonsense that's gonna make people like me and you suffer. Well, people that look like me and you.
The fact that I can't go to a cheeky Turkey, a cheeky Spain without a visa now is going to be...
It's unnecessary.
It's going to be so sad and depressing.
For the creatives that are always hopping up and down.
Yeah, like Berlin, Amsterdam, all that kind of stuff. Berlin. Paris.
And you know what the worst thing is? If you bring...
German.
I'm so done.
Sorry.
It's not me. It's not me. You need to apologize.
Sorry.
Lessons. What's the lessons for ourselves?
My lesson for myself is I'm trying to repatriate to the continent of Africa so that when
we're going to get onto that in a bit.
So when these guys do all their stupid border control in their own country, because once you go to Africa, I can just be going.
Go
to north, go to south, go to west, go to. Do you know what I mean?
I'm tired.
Whereas in this country, if they close the borders of the country, am I going to say this England? I'm not.
Brexit, well done. Woo! Congratulations for yourselves.
Insecure. This is Alex's one.
There's no need to say it like that.
I didn't say like anything.
Big
up Miss Array.
Everyone who watches Insecure, especially the man. I've learned so much about relationships from Insecure. I've learned about the intricacies that sometimes a brother or sisters, we may not share them in conversations just because we're on one side and you're on another side. But that show's been very insightful. And I love the way her bant is A1.
Yeah,
A1. I'm here for it. It also reminds me a bit of like a lot of the conversations I've been having on Clubhouse. It's an amazing app, everyone.
It is great. I'm not even gonna lie. It's good.
I made Elsie a believer.
It wasn't
I
actually
didn't
me, to be
really
honest,
make you a believer, but
You didn't make me believe that.
anyways, but no, I do like the insight that she gives. And it was also interesting because Molly and Issa, the two, like the protagonist and her bestie, they broke up. And again, relationships, they're gonna end, they're gonna start, they're gonna go through their emotions. It's okay.
It's life, baby. So Small Axe. Big up all the team behind Small Axe.
All of them.
Especially my friend Jodie. Hey, it's the costume team. But yeah, big up all the team. I think representation is so important, and the power of us telling our own stories, us being behind the directorship, us being behind, again, like the costume, us being behind the script writing, do you know what I mean? I think it's so important for our stories to be heard from our perspective.
The narratives, when they're getting told secondhand, you know what I mean? Like, they're just going to miss it.
Yeah.
It's not going to feel authentic, genuine.
Yeah.
You miss certain nuances.
I think especially for the UK, there isn't a lot of media that kind of what's the word? That kind of like portrays our story.
Yeah, we're not centered.
We're not centered.
We're like supporting act.
We don't even
No, levels though.
Yeah, don't even say we're centered though, because it's not. I don't think it's about centering. It's about it's us just having our own narrative, or us just giving value to our own narrative.
To our own platforms.
Do you know what I mean? To our own stories, because I think a lot of the topics around Black history, especially in the UK, we learn a lot about American history. We don't really learn about the Black struggle in the UK. Like, we don't really learn about the struggles of Windrush generation, or just what it meant for our generation, like our African first comers. I don't know what it's called. First gen to come here and their experiences. Like, I'd love for there to be a Small Axe, in a sense, that kind of tells about Nigerian parents that had to like share houses, and do you know what I mean? Like, someone will sleep on a mattress, and there's one whole family on a mattress. And, do you know what I mean? Like, just.
But you know what the funniest thing is? I do feel like the Windrush, them man, they've been generations deep in this country.
100%.
So,
yeah, we should all tell our stories.
More like, if you're about it and you love it and you're there, please
tell your story.
Yeah, that's
tell
what
your
I mean.
Story.
That's what
yeah.
I mean. Like, this is all about amplifying and empowering you lot.
Yeah.
If you lot have anything that you want to send through to us so that we can talk on it,
send it.
Our emails are somewhere here. So. Oh, is it me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Cool. Are we keeping to time? I don't think we are. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna get deeper, guys. Trigger warning. The little girl that was attacked, the schoolgirl. I do think this occurs across
the world.
Yeah. It don't matter on your skin color, the money that you have or you don't have, your age, this, that.
Yeah.
But I do think socio-economic factors can play a fact into it. And I used to work in child sexual exploitation, and some of the stories you hear, it's mad.
Yeah, the wild.
Very.
Wild.
Please, let's look after our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Let's tell if we know someone's doing something incorrect, let's challenge them. Let's try to teach them. Let's teach and not try to offend. And as we're learning, let's not try to be too defensive. If that makes sense. So yeah, if someone tells you, yo, brother, do better, try and hear them, but also, as we're saying it, try and say it in the right voice.
I think it's interesting. I think the topic of child exploitation or just sexual assault in general is very broad, and I think there are a lot of experiences that cover all sorts. Maybe our brother who moves a bit mad, or our brother who maybe has doesn't know his boundaries, or maybe has a bit of an anger issue. Do you know what I mean? I think the approach to how we approach our brother on that sector, and how we approach someone who systematically is unwilling to change their behaviour and perpetrates willingly, do you know what I mean, abuse. I think the approach needs to be different. That being said, I do believe in restorative justice as a whole, but I think the approach to restorative justice is different for different people, and sometimes it's just a conversation, whereas sometimes it is, bro, you need to spend some time in confinement with a therapist, hopefully.
Is that that's not going to happen.
Restorative?
That's not going to happen.
Why?
Them confined with a therapist.
Amen. Well, we have to create the change we want to see in it.
Yeah, but we don't control that sector.
I know.
So when we...
But
this is complex. It's complex. Because when you say someone needs to go down for a crime, you're supporting
the prison system,
the penal. Yeah, you're supporting all of that.
Do you know what?
Then that system is a mess.
I know.
So it can feel very disempowering.
I hear you.
And it feels like you said, completely. I don't disagree with anything you said, but certain times I know that a brother needs, like you said,
More
a therapist.
support,
He needs a therapist.
But then it's like
he's gonna get locked up.
But then it's like, at whose expense?
I agree.
Like,
I
are we gonna?
agree.
That's the thing. Like, I think it is. It's kind of like choosing between two evils, if that makes sense. And I don't support. I don't wholeheartedly support the prison system at all. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of like, what is the risk? What is the cost of letting someone continue to perpetrate some behaviours? It's like, I'm not gonna cost a young girl's life. I'm not gonna cost three more women. Do you know what I mean? At the expense of a guy's mental health that has had years to possibly address their behaviour. Do you know what I mean?
However,
I think the prison system does need to change. Sorry.
And it's not just that.
Yeah.
I also think council culture needs to be explored.
It needs to be explored.
Because it's similar. It's a similar kind of thing of, we're cancelling you today. We're going to do an episode on this.
Yeah.
We'll do an episode on this.
Because I think even the concept of cancel culture as well, what people think cancelling, it's like, do people really get cancelled in this modern day 2020?
I think it depends on so many, there's so many metrics that come into play. If your label's doing enough for you, if your PR team's doing enough, if you're able to get one of your brethren on side who's also there, my brother didn't mean that, or they make a tune with you, all of a sudden they're giving you a cosign, you're brought back. It's so complex. It's too complex. And I've also seen people, guys, we'll do another episode. If you lot want us to talk on anything specific,
let us know. Yeah.
I think it's you.
But shout out to the little girl anyway, and her family, and all the other girls around the world that don't have support.
Okay.
Entanglements. If on the sheets, tanglements.
Wow.
Entanglements.
Wow. That's all happening.
Do you know what, yeah?
I'm going to let you... I'm glad you picked it up.
I think... I love Jada. I do. Jada, I mean, Red Table Talk, love it. But from the discourse around the situation... In terms of like August being in like do you know what I mean? Just in an unstable place, and just the whole
how he was introduced to the family
like
his age and
it's not it still.
It's complex.
It's not it.
It's complex.
It's complex, and I get it. But the same way, if Jada was a woman, if Jada was a man, and this was a young woman I would have a lot to say, and I still have a lot to say with respect. I still have a lot to say, do you know what I mean? In terms of, it's not kosher.
I really like moments where I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I want to throw in, you know how we do. I want to throw in left and right. Let's be honest. Even down to, you know that Bumble?
What's Bumble?
The social, yeah. I think the woman has to initiate the first message or something like that. Yeah, so how to explain it? The way the world is, let's be honest. If you tump me on camera, they're gonna be like, "Oh, cute, it's bands and everything." If I do it, what's he doing? It's just the way the world is. It's what we're taught from early, and some of that is toxic because as a man, I can do whatever I want to do, and then you might get judged for doing the same thing. So it works both ways.
On the flip side, yeah.
However, I'm not gonna talk on all of the Twitter lists. This one did that with that kid and this and that. But it's happened consistently. Week after week, there's been something that's brought up. It's complex. I think it's complex because sometimes it's not that you're doing something that's slap bang wrong. It's immoral. And then that then becomes your values. That then becomes what you've been taught, what you lean into, what you... accept and disregard, society, culture. Did you grow up in the church? And then that's too nuanced. There's too much. I feel you. So he's the right age. Who doesn't have mental health stuff going on? Even the one that will tell you, me, mental health. Watch him for 10 minutes. And you're like, bro, that's different. In my world, that's, I
feel you.
So again, it's not that I agree with her, but I'm just throwing in the context.
I definitely think you can understand the context of a situation and still say that was wrong.
Also, when you're a boy of 20 something, you're like, yo, I'm ready to enjoy my life.
Yeah, I know. But then that's what I'm saying. It's not on him. It's not on him as a younger, because he is the younger person. He is the vulnerable person in the group. It's not on him to make a decision, even though he has agency. Even though he definitely, I'm not taking away his agency and his ability to maybe move to her or whatever. But for me, as someone, I feel like I've been in a situation where I've been the older person or I've been the more responsible person, and stuff has been presented to me, and I'm like, it's immoral for me to go ahead with this. And situations where I have gone ahead with something, I still have to say to myself, Elsie, that was wrong, that was immoral of you to do. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't, the context doesn't stop someone from being wrong, and for someone to say, actually, what you did there was immoral and it was wrong, and actually, if there's a consequence to be paid that the person wants to lay onto you, you are due the receiving end of that.
I definitely hear you.
Yeah.
Pardon.
Personally.
You are?
So personally, respectfully.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
But it's challenging because, like I said, morals, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's certain people, they move crazy, but you'll befriend them and you wouldn't have an issue with them. But it's because they're not bringing that side. But then maybe Yeah. It's just, I just think it's complex. Someone will vote for Trump to come into power, but they're not voting for him to say, I'm grabbing someone's something. They're not voting for him to be...
But this is the thing. Why are we...
Because we separate. Someone's a cheat. No, hear me, but you separate.
I do feel you.
Like, do you know people are still watching that red table? But if it was and Jada tried to do that today, they wouldn't. I just think it's complex. People remove.
There's definitely degrees of separation.
You walk into your bank knowing your bank funded slavery 400 years ago, but you're there to be like, yeah, look at me.
Yeah.
You're buying. It's complex, man.
It's definitely complex.
It's complex. And again, I'm not supporting anyone or anything, but.
For me, it's just accountability. Like, I'm never gonna...
Do you think she was accountable?
Do I think she was accountable in the interview with Will Smith? I think Will Smith
PR was strong in that, you know?
Yeah.
No, I think the PR was strong in that.
Do you know what? Again, I think...
The spirit of...
I think they tried...
To do what?
They tried to address it. Do you not think they tried to address it?
It's complex.
It's complex.
When the cameras go down, it's complex.
It's complex. I think so. What's the lesson from this? Because I really don't want to. I don't want to like.
Sure.
Open my mouth.
You can't victim blame. Can't shame people for the choices they made.
Yeah.
But morals. Just try and be a better person.
Just try and be a better person. Honestly, 2021, 2020. Again, like from personal experience, it is complex holding your friends accountable for stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because your friend will always have that, but I never did it, and always tries to defend themselves, if that makes sense. So it's
you're looking at them like...
Yeah.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? So it's just really about, I think the lesson for us is really learning how to be self-accountable and being brave enough to hold our friends accountable and those accountable in our lives. And just that culture of learning. How do we learn to be better people? How do we really, as a community, really strive to be better people, and not just by doing self-help and fucking chakra videos? Like, how do we address our morals and our actual values? Do you know what I mean?
Sure. That sounded like... Anyways, yeah. Also, Google. Believe in Google. You can actually Google, how can I be a better person? I promise you. The same energy you're putting... No, wait.
It's just funny.
No, but someone has spent the time to write down an answer. Go and do research. Because if I ask you about Kim K, you might know. If I ask you about that footballer, you might know. Do the efforts on yourself. You'd be walking around with one odour of misery and uncertain, like just trouble, and you're... Hello, mate. You're opening your mouth. Your dirty mouth.
I know it's definitely it's hard for people to address their trauma and to address their toxicity, because for people, it's not only like toxic behavior. Usually, always has a whole dungeon of trauma and complexities and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's just about giving people the space and support.
That is kin. I love Beyonce for making moments for the culture.
Yeah.
They're not always moments specifically for me. But they're definitely moments for the culture. 100%. And I love how she brings and pulls her resources.
I think it's also great that they teamed up with Disney, do you know what I mean, to bring the production forward. And I love just the way that, just the concept of that in terms of like Afrofuturism and what it means for like blackness to exist in these like like Disney being this magical place of like wonder and possibility. Do you know what I mean?
And all that sci-fi.
Animation, fantasy.
Future.
Do you know what I mean? I love that as a concept. And so big up all the team for bringing that together.
And whether they know it or not, all the cultural references, they do ignite the minds of others to not necessarily feel like everything is demon.
Yeah.
Let's
we can
explore.
Take power. We can be
Sure.
prideful.
From pot to fire. Chadwick, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I was just watching Black Panther like yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
So many gems got dropped in that.
Yeah.
So many gems. And Marvel have just announced they're not going to recast him.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate. Because sometimes there's this urgency to get someone to relive the magic. No. Just let him. He did his thing and he smashed it. He definitely shifted. You see this Afrofuturism thing? For me, it was seeing black characters in Marvel and DC before I could even imagine them taken to the live screen.
Yeah.
And never thinking I would see it in my lifetime. I never imagined. So, yes, every Marvel movie, I'm there. First person in the queue to watch the movies. But when you then inject something that feels more like me,
I think what I love about Chadwick is that for me he's like a real life hero as well, in the sense that just his heart, his soul, his spirit, you know what I mean? Like some of the interviews that he's done and the speeches that he's made just really reflect someone of like just true soul and integrity and character, and so for that, like big up a million times.
More power and more respect. If you can leave Earth.
Oh, it's empty.
Swear.
Oh, there's one more. So BLM George Floyd. In was it March or April, May? I think it was May. May we saw again another killing of a black man with a very visceral video footage that ignited marches and kind of like outrage, primarily in America, but then spread to the UK, and I think the diaspora around the world. Just again, and then Breonna Taylor, Toyin Salah, do you know what I mean? And so many other names like Elijah, so many names.
Sis, Breonna.
I said that.
My bad.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I feel this year has been very traumatic for us, man.
Yeah.
Super traumatic. And it never stopped. It was COVID, which everybody was...
It did not stop.
It literally a boom. What's that?
Bing bang, boom, baby.
Boo boo. You know the GB.
Bang, bang. Did not stop. Yeah.
I don't even know how to unpack that other than to say, guys, like everything that we've begun this year, let's
keep the foot on the gas.
Yeah. Let's give power to it. Yeah. We haven't even started to talk about the other things that have happened later on in the year.
Yeah. Obviously, in October we saw kind of the outburst, the explosion that happened with the NSAS movement, protests in Nigeria and in the UK and around the world, kind of like highlighting the injustice and the police brutality against young people in Nigeria for just living their lives. People being stopped for having dreadlocks, people being stopped for having phone, for having flashy jewelry, for having this, for having that, stopped, abused, raped, killed, as if our lives don't mean anything. And I think that definitely needs to stop. And that is a pandemic as well.
Oh sure.
Of just
police brutality.
Abuse of power. It's abuse of power, especially in Nigeria. You have these uncles that are just you're walking around like this. Oh, little girl, what can you do for? Do you know what I mean? That kind of like energy.
It's a lot.
I've never. I
was gonna.
I've never had SARS come to me and deal with madness.
It's more the fact that I can't relate to SARS in Nigeria personally.
But uncles abuse their power.
How do you explain it? I can relate to police brutality because you talk about it being a pandemic.
Oh, police brutality. No,
and I can relate to it in this country. I think a lot of black men. It's wild. It's wild. It doesn't mean that they beat us up in the back of a police van. It's everything from the hello mate.
Yeah.
To the
profiling.
To your in court. Like the whole journey is a mess.
Yeah.
And like small acts showed us, right? When you were talking about it earlier, like this has been going on.
How they target people and just bully people basically.
And it's been going on.
Yeah.
However, when we take it back to Nigeria, no, I know about the abuse of power.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether I'm in a church, whether I'm in a school kind of educational space. It doesn't matter whether it's what else? So even in the dance, for instance, I come to you for something, like I'm like, oh, can I have some jollof or some meat or anything? That small smidgen of power you've got, because they gave you a spoon.
You now abuse it. Yeah.
Then if you're going, I think it permeates down from government all the way down to the person
And
selling
fam.
Atarodo on the roadside.
And the way government as well, they completely, in the face of evidence, in the face of reports, in
It's
the
mad.
face of all
It's
the
mad.
Facebook lives, Instagram lives, they still denied it and said it didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's just the abuse of power and the fact that, and I want to also big up people like Feminist Coalition and all the ground workers that are really doing the work to like raise, amplify this message and just help support survivors, help support protesters, help support all the different people, the lawyers that were helping out, the food makers that were helping out, the caterers, the nurses, or just anyone that was helping out. Big up them.
And they paid a price, you know.
They paid it. I think they couldn't leave the country.
Down to Lekki Tollgate.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah.
And
in peace,
you know what the funniest thing is? There's a certain privilege afforded people who are from that region of Lagos, of Nigeria, that when they speak, they know they're going to connect with the diaspora.
Because they have the phones, they have the internet, they have social media, whereas those in that maybe the rural towns or the villages that don't have...
there's a lot of hashtags.
That don't have this...
Yeah.
connection to the outside world.
Yeah.
Their stories go unheard of, and it's so sad.
And then the price that they pay, not being able to travel, having their bank account seized.
Yeah. Do you know I'm trying to send my money to Nigeria, and they've stopped in transactions.
Do you know what? You see this whole remitter money that we're sending over. Do you know that literally floats Nigeria's economy? Do you know how many aunties and uncles are expecting that small change to be coming from big change to be coming from here?
It's so true. It's not a form of economic fucking
G,
power abuse.
My G. It's the levels.
That's like, bruv, I'm telling you, these like fam, I'm trying to get more into like the political spaces, because when I look at abuse of power, it just permeates life, from the little child being abused to the school teacher doing the madness, to the police officers doing the madness, to governments systematically isolating their communities, and it's so irritating, and it really needs to be an active movement across all sectors, from like the Black Pound Day to making sure there's representation in the workplace, to make sure the justice system is addressed. You know what I mean? Because the justice system in America is trash, and it is trash in the UK as well. Do you know what I mean? Like police injustice worldwide, in NSARS. Do you know what I mean? Like just the way that Black bodies are treated. From external people and from ourselves as well, like it just needs to be completely addressed.
And I get why we're in this place, but it's not every day we're just in this place and we're going to be in it. Let's challenge.
I think there are lots of factors that are moving towards changing the way that we view ourselves and that we are viewed. But I just hope that these changes again continue to reflect actual changes and policies and just stuff that, like, even in the healthcare sector, do you know what I mean? Like, I just pray that, they keep the foot on the gas.
A part of me is like, we did amazing work, but in the Oyinbo spaces, where we were trying to affect some of this change, me personally, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
In some of the spaces.
Yeah.
So, for instance, after everything that happened, tell me one tangible something that's occurred. I'm not talking about shifts in mindset.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about us empowering ourselves, but on the Oyinbo side, which is why, again, I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
It's more about the brothers and sisters who are receptive to the change and empowering ourselves to do what needs to be done. Because all now, like, after Brion and after all of everything, what's changed? From that side, nothing. I ain't seen no new laws. Oh, they're deporting people. Was it the other day to Windrush? The Windrush.
That's what I'm saying though. It's actually bullshit. Like, it's actually.
So yeah.
If you think about it too much, you actually get mad. You get hell angry. If it's James Baldwin that says, like, to be a black man and to be conscious is just to be angry. It's just to be angry all the time. And big up Black Joy and Black Love.
Amen.
And all the different
representations
that we have to keep the sanity alive, because it's a lot. This is your one, by the way.
I swear. Australia, the Amazon rainforest. Our environment is important. We cannot create life. We can just nurture it, the science is beyond us. Otherwise,
honestly,
when we're burning, I say we because I'm a member of this race and on this earth, but when we do things that affects our environments, the ecosystems on earth, wildlife, it's no good though. Maybe we won't immediately feel the effects, but believe me, someone will.
Our children will.
So let's.
Children's children.
Also,
And the way that again, the way climate change, the way that the global north is just using resources, creating pollution, just destroying completely the whole ecosystem or the whole environment, and the fact that even in that, it's just impacting the global south. Like in terms of like how many countries in Africa are landlocked and are just affected now by like falling rainfall levels, global warming. Do you know what I mean? It's like even again like capitalism and colonialism still impact us across the board. Do you know what I mean? The fact that these companies will have light on for a whole 24/7, just using energy.
Do you know how many times I switched off the lights, and then someone's like, "Oh, why are you switching off the lights for?" And I'm looking at them like.
Or even the West, like the way that these people, like even like fast fashion, do you know what I mean? The way that when people dash clothes, buy clothes, dash clothes, and when does it end up? Landfills in Africa or landfills in Asia, do you know what I mean? It's like,
And you know the funniest thing is, you have to make the change yourself, because it's hard. If you, I don't want to call out anyone's.
But this is the thing.
But you see these fast fashions, ASOS is middle ground for me. I find that kind of somewhat. Okay, fair enough. I don't shop there per se, but the other ones, the pretty something, and the little, and the boo something.
I mean, with PLC, they've got lovely campaigns. How many people want to chat shit?
But this is the problem. This is the problem. They're not my father's company. They're not disturbing me. They don't even know me. They don't care. We don't know each other. It's not that deep. However, the reality is, your business model involves someone making something for pence.
For cheap labour, yeah.
And you knowing that in 6 months' time, this thing, if you put it in the washing machine, wahala for your washing machine.
Honestly.
Your washing machine is going to pack up, your clothes are going to be shredded. And it's just the attitude, the fact of, that's not cool anymore. That was last year. Like, and the fact that we perpetuate that.
Yeah.
And we tell each other, come on, my guy, come on, you can do better. And let's make the changes we can.
Oh, shout out what we're wearing, by the way, on topic of fashion.
But
I'm currently wearing Black Hound Baby Venus XXXI on Instagram, the label.
Do you want to give everyone like a...
I just did the intro for my thing.
Say nothing. I meant like a get up and be like...
Oh, I mean,
photo.
I think the camera... Oh,
great.
Hey, your turn.
This, my mum and dad got this from me.
Okay, oh yeah,
in Nigeria.
Alex, your turn. Stand up and dance. Dance for the camera. Oh yeah.
Do you remember when you used to get money for dancing?
Yeah. No.
I was broke. I never got anything. They never gave it to me.
Alex, go.
Oh, sorry. You know this. Your face is sticky.
And it's like dance for money.
Can I just say something about that? Sometimes that used to make me super uncomfortable.
Oh, what?
Because there was no consensuality in it. You had to get up. Like, it was almost like, oh yeah, come on. And it's like,
Don't be shy. Yeah.
But I don't want to dance.
Yeah. I feel you.
And then you're giving me money. It's a bit creepy and weird, isn't it? Let's cut that bit out.